All right, so are you ready to dive into one of the most talked about UFO sightings in recent years?
I am. Always up for a good mystery.
Yeah, this one's a real head scratcher. We're talking about the Fukuoka UFO sighting. November 23rd, 2019, Fukuoka, Japan. It was a Saturday night around 8:30 p.m. People are out, enjoying their weekend, and suddenly this bright disc-shaped object just appears in the sky. Witnesses describe seeing these pulsating, color-changing lights coming from it.
Yeah, and it wasn't just a quick flash in the pan either. This thing lingered in the sky long enough for people to actually capture photos and videos.
And they did, lots of them, which is really what makes this case so fascinating.
Right, it's not just a fleeting glimpse or a single witness claiming they saw something strange. We have multiple witnesses, a decent amount of visual evidence, and it all points to something unusual happening that night.
Exactly. And the Fukuoka sighting quickly gained international attention. It became a global sensation, really. And to this day, it continues to spark debate and fascination among both UFO enthusiasts and skeptics.
It really captures the imagination, doesn't it?
Totally. But, it's not just about the lights in the sky, it's about the human element, too. The impact this event had on the people who witnessed it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, imagine you're just going about your evening and then, bam, you see something completely unexplainable hovering above you.
Yeah, it would definitely make you question everything you thought you knew about the world.
For sure. And when you look at the eyewitness accounts, you see this whole range of emotions. You have a group of friends out for the night who are completely awestruck by what they saw.
Right.
And then you have another witness, someone walking home alone, who was absolutely terrified by this unidentified object in the sky.
Talk about a contrast.
Right. It just goes to show you how differently people can react to something so strange and unknown.
But here's the thing. Despite the varying emotional responses, the descriptions of the object itself remain remarkably consistent.
That's what's so compelling.
Right. Disc-shaped, bright, color-changing lights. These details, coming from multiple independent sources, lend a certain credibility to the event. It's hard to dismiss it as just a collective hallucination, you
Yep,
know?
exactly. Especially when you consider the photos and videos that were captured that night.
Yeah, those visuals add another layer of complexity to this whole case.
Even some of the most hardcore skeptics have a hard time just brushing aside all that visual evidence.
Right. And it's not just the public who took notice. The Fukuoka sighting caught the attention of the Japanese government as well. Their space agency, JAXA, actually launched an official investigation into the incident.
That's a pretty big deal. You know, governments often try to avoid getting involved in UFO reports. They tend to dismiss them as hoaxes or misinterpretations. So the fact that JXA took it seriously enough to launch an investigation suggests they acknowledged something out of the ordinary had occurred.
Right. They were like, okay, something's up here. We need to look into this. But even with their resources and expertise, the investigation ultimately hit a wall. They couldn't definitively identify the object, they couldn't say for sure what it was, and they couldn't rule out the possibility of extraterrestrial origin either.
Oh, wow. So a real dead end, huh?
Yep, a frustrating one for sure.
But isn't that what keeps people coming back to cases like this? That lack of a concrete answer? It leaves the door wide open to speculation and imagination?
It's like a puzzle with missing pieces, and everyone's trying to fill in those gaps with their own theories.
Was it a myth-identified drone? A secret military project? Or something truly otherworldly?
The mystery lingers, and people love a good mystery.
Absolutely. And the media certainly didn't shy away from it either.
Oh no, the media went into overdrive. Both in Japan and internationally, everyone was covering the Fukuoka sighting.
I bet. It must have been a frenzy.
It was. And it wasn't just the usual UFO enthusiast publications either. Mainstream news outlets jumped on the story too. Everyone from serious investigative journalists to those who were quick to dismiss it as a hoax.
It's fascinating how the media coverage often mirrors the spectrum of public opinion. You have those who are completely captivated by the idea of alien visitors, and then you have those who are staunch skeptics, looking for any earthly explanation.
It's like everyone's got their own lens through which they're viewing this event. And then on top of the traditional media, you had the whole social media explosion. This was 2019, remember? The age of instant sharing and viral content, those eyewitness photos and videos spread like wildfire online.
Oh yeah, social media definitely played a huge role in turning the Fukuoka sighting into a global phenomenon.
Totally. People from all over the world were sharing their thoughts, their theories, and even their own experiences with the unexplained.
It really transformed a local event into a global conversation, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you how technology is changing the way we experience and understand these types of events. Okay, so let's recap. We've got multiple credible witnesses, compelling visual evidence, an official government investigation that reached a dead end, and a media frenzy fueled by social media. Where do we go from here?
Well, let's dive into the various theories that have been proposed to explain the Fukuoka UFO sighting.
Sounds good to me,
Because everyone loves a good theory, right?
especially when it comes to UFOs.
Exactly. So on one side of the spectrum, you have the enthusiasts, the believers, those who see the Fukuoka sighting as clear evidence of extraterrestrial visitation.
Right, the we are not alone crowd.
Exactly. They look at the object's appearance, those pulsating lights, the disc shape, and they say, aha, this has got to be an alien spacecraft.
And you know their excitement is understandable. Those descriptions do align with some of the popular conceptions of what alien spacecraft might look and behave like. It's like something straight out of a science fiction movie. Then you have those who lean towards a more terrestrial explanation, the secret military project theory. These folks propose that what people saw wasn't alien technology, but rather a top-secret aircraft or drone, something the public isn't supposed to know about.
That's a common theory in a lot of UFO sightings.
Mm.
It taps into that idea that governments are experimenting with advanced technologies far beyond what we're aware of.
And maybe they're not quite ready to share those advancements with the world just yet.
Exactly.
And then, of course, you have the skeptics, those who believe there's a more down-to-earth explanation for the Fukuoka sighting. They suggest it could have been a misidentified object, like a weather balloon, a drone with unusual lighting, or even a flock of birds reflecting the city lights in a peculiar way.
And, to be fair to the skeptics, misidentification is a factor in a lot of UFO reports. Consider the conditions. It was nighttime, there were city lights, and human perception isn't always perfect. It's easy to be fooled, especially when you're observing something unexpected and unfamiliar.
Right. Our brains are always trying to make sense of the world around us, and sometimes they fill in the gaps with the most familiar or logical explanations, even if those explanations aren't entirely accurate. The problem is with the Fukuoka sighting, none of these theories have been definitively proven or disproven.
But that's the thing about these cases. It's like we're trying to solve a puzzle, but we're missing some crucial pieces.
And everyone's trying to complete the picture with their own interpretation of what those missing pieces might be.
It's the beauty and the frustration of UFO sightings all rolled into one.
Exactly. So where does that leave us? With a whole lot of questions and not a lot of answers.
But that's okay. Sometimes the journey is more important than the destination, right?
Right. And the Fukuoka UFO sighting, regardless of what it actually was, has sparked a global conversation, challenged assumptions, and reignited our fascination with the unknown.
It's a reminder that there's still so much we don't know about the universe. And that's incredibly exciting.
It is. It fuels our curiosity, our desire to explore, to investigate, and to keep searching for answers. And on that note, we're going to take a quick pause to regroup and gather our thoughts. Because we've only just scratched the surface of this intriguing case. When we come back, we'll delve deeper into the potential implications of each theory, the lasting impact of the Fukuoka sighting, and what it all means for our understanding of the universe and our place within it. Stay with us.
I can't wait.
All right, so welcome back to our deep dive into the Fukuoka UFO sighting. Before we took a break, we were sort of wading through this whole swamp of theories, trying to figure out what exactly happened in the skies over Fukuoka. But let's step back for a second and really consider the implications of each of these theories. It's like choosing your own adventure. Each path leads to a different reality.
Oh, totally. And each theory carries its own weight, its own set of consequences and questions that we as a species would have to confront if it turned out to be true.
Exactly. Okay, so let's start with the most mind-blowing possibility. The extraterrestrial hypothesis. What if, just for a moment, we entertain the idea that what those people saw was a genuine alien spacecraft? What would that mean for humanity?
It would be a complete game changer, wouldn't it? Confirmation that we're not alone in the universe, that intelligent life exists beyond our planet. It would fundamentally alter our understanding of our place in the cosmos.
I mean, think about it. All those science fiction stories, all the speculation about alien civilizations, suddenly it wouldn't be fiction anymore.
Right. It would be our reality.
Wow. Yeah, it's almost too much to process.
But along with that sense of wonder and excitement, there would also be a lot of anxiety, wouldn't there?
Oh, absolutely.
What are their intentions? Are they friendly explorers, or are we looking at a potential invasion scenario? The possibilities, both positive and terrifying, are pretty much endless.
Yeah. It's a lot to wrap your head around. Okay, so let's bring it back down to earth, at least figuratively, and consider the secret military project theory. If what those people saw was some kind of advanced, top-secret aircraft or drone, what kind of implications would that have?
Well, for one, it raises some serious concerns about transparency and accountability.
Yeah.
Governments operating with that level of secrecy,
Yeah.
it could have a real impact on global security.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what else they might be hiding, what other technological advancements are being developed behind closed doors, and what are the potential consequences if those technologies fall into the wrong hands.
It's a bit of a rabbit hole, isn't it?
It is. And even if we entertain the more mundane explanations, the misidentify object theories, it still highlights something really important about the human experience.
What's that?
How easily our perception can be fooled, especially when we're dealing with something unfamiliar or unexpected.
Yeah, our brains are wired to find patterns and make sense of the world around us. But sometimes that can lead us astray.
Right. It's a good reminder that we need to be critical thinkers, to question what we see and hear, and to be open to the possibility that things aren't always as they appear.
That's a great point. The Fukuoka sighting, regardless of its true nature, underscores the need for rigorous investigation, scientific analysis, and a healthy dose of skepticism.
We can't just jump to conclusions based on limited information or personal biases.
Exactly.
So whether we're talking about alien visitors, secret government projects, or simply a case of mistaken identity, the Fukuoka sighting forces us to grapple with some pretty big questions about our place in the universe, the role of government, the nature of truth, and even the limits of our own perception.
It's a reminder that the world is full of mysteries, and that's
Yeah.
something to be embraced, not feared.
I like that. Embrace the mystery. Speaking of mysteries, we touched on the role of social media earlier. It's amazing how technology has transformed the way we experience and share these kinds of events. The Fukuoka sighting went from a local news story to a global phenomenon practically overnight, all thanks to the power of social media.
Social media is definitely a double-edged sword in these situations. On one hand, it allows for rapid dissemination of information. Eyewitness accounts can be shared instantly, and it creates this global platform for discussion and debate. But on the other hand, it can also be a breeding ground for misinformation, speculation, and sensationalism.
It's like the Wild West of information out there. You've got everything from genuine eyewitness accounts and expert analysis to wild conspiracy theories and outright hoaxes. It's up to each individual to navigate that landscape carefully, to be discerning about the information they consume and share.
Absolutely. Critical thinking is more important than ever in the age of social media. We need to be able to evaluate sources, consider different perspectives, and avoid falling prey to confirmation bias.
It's easy to get swept up in the excitement or the fear or the intrigue, but it's crucial to remain grounded and objective as much as possible.
Right. It's like being a detective piecing together a puzzle. You have to examine each piece of evidence, carefully consider all the angles, and be willing to discard theories that don't hold up under scrutiny.
And just like a good detective story, the Fukuoka case is full of twists and turns, dead ends, and tantalizing clues. It's a reminder that the search for truth is rarely straightforward. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to embrace uncertainty.
Well said.
Okay, so we've explored the potential implications of each theory, and we've talked about the role of social media in shaping the narrative. But let's zoom out for a moment and consider the bigger picture. The Fukuoka sighting wasn't an isolated incident. It's part of a larger pattern of unexplained aerial phenomena that have been reported all over the world for decades, if not centuries.
You're right. From Roswell to the Phoenix Lights, from Rendlesham Forest to countless other sightings, there's a long and rich history of encounters with the unexplained.
And these encounters continue to baffle scientists, governments, and the public alike.
It's true.
It's like there's this persistent thread woven through human history, this fascination with the unknown, the inexplicable, the possibility that we're not alone in the universe. And the Fukuoka sighting is just one chapter in that ongoing story.
I like that analogy. One chapter in a much larger story.
Right, and it's a chapter that raises some profound questions. Are these isolated events, random anomalies, or are they indicative of something more profound, something that challenges our current understanding of reality?
Big questions indeed.
Are we witnessing evidence of advanced technologies, either human or extraterrestrial? Or are we dealing with phenomena that defy our current scientific models? These are questions that have haunted humanity for generations, and they continue to drive our curiosity, our scientific exploration, and our search for meaning in this vast and mysterious cosmos.
And while we may never have definitive answers to all these questions, the ongoing pursuit of knowledge, the willingness to question, to explore, to challenge assumptions, that's what makes the human journey so remarkable.
I agree. It's the journey, not necessarily the destination. And on that note, we're going to take another quick pause to reflect on everything we've discussed so far. The evidence, the theories, the implications, and the sheer wonder of the unknown. When we return, we'll explore the lasting impact of the Fukuoka sighting and what lessons we can glean from this intriguing and enigmatic event. Stay tuned.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive into the Fukuoka UFO sighting. We've examined the eyewitness accounts, the official investigation, and that whole whirlwind of theories that emerged in the aftermath. As we reach the end of our exploration, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on all this? Has anything in particular struck a chord with you?
Well, for me, the Fukuoka sighting really drives home just how much we don't know about the universe. It's a humbling experience to realize that our current scientific understanding might only be scratching the surface.
It's like a cosmic reality check, isn't it? We humans, we like to think we have things figured out, but
Yeah.
then something like this happens, and it throws everything into question. Exactly. It forces us to confront the unknown, to grapple with the possibility that there might be phenomena out there that are beyond our current comprehension.
And that can be a little unsettling for some people, right? It's much easier to stick with what's familiar, to dismiss anything that doesn't fit neatly into our existing worldview. But the Fukuoka sighting, along with countless other similar incidents, it pushes us beyond that comfort zone.
Dig us.
It invites us to embrace curiosity, to question our assumptions, and to be open to new possibilities.
It's about nurturing that sense of wonder, that willingness to explore the unknown, even if it means challenging our deeply held beliefs.
So what do we do with that sense of wonder? How do we move forward in a world where these unexplained events continue to occur? How do we balance our desire for knowledge with the uncertainty that inevitably surrounds these phenomena?
Well, I think it starts with fostering a culture of open-mindedness and critical thinking. We need to be willing to consider all possibilities, to examine the evidence carefully, and to avoid jumping to conclusions.
It's about approaching these topics with both curiosity and healthy skepticism, right?
Exactly.
And that means being skeptical not only of extraordinary claims, but also of our own biases. It's easy to dismiss something we don't understand, but that doesn't mean it's not worth investigating.
Right. And how we investigate is just as important as what we investigate. We need rigorous scientific methods, transparency, and collaboration between scientists, governments, and the public.
The Fukuoka sighting really highlighted the power of social media in bringing these events to light and fostering global conversation, but it also exposed the potential for misinformation and sensationalism.
It's a tricky landscape to navigate, isn't it?
It is. It's like a minefield of information out there. It's our responsibility as individuals to be discerning consumers of information, to evaluate sources carefully, and to be wary of claims that lack evidence or rely on fear-mongering. We can't just blindly accept everything we see online.
Absolutely. Critical thinking is essential now more than ever. We need to develop the skills to distinguish between credible sources and those peddling misinformation. We need to be able to analyze information, identify biases, and form our own informed conclusions.
So it all comes down to striking a balance between curiosity and skepticism, between open-mindedness and critical thinking, between the excitement of the unknown and the responsibility to seek the truth.
Well said.
It's not an easy task, but it's a necessary one if we want to navigate the complexities of these unexplained phenomena.
You know, the Fukuoka UFO sighting and all the mysteries it embodies, it offers us a unique opportunity to learn, to grow, and to expand our understanding of the universe and our place within it. It reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge is an ongoing journey, one filled with twists and turns, unexpected discoveries, and a healthy dose of awe.
I completely agree. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've explored the details of the sighting, delved into the various theories, and examined the broader implications of such events. And while we may not have definitive answers, I hope this exploration has ignited your curiosity, challenged your assumptions, and left you with a sense of wonder about the mysteries that still surround us.
Keep looking up, keep asking questions, and never stop exploring the vast unknown. The truth, whatever it may be, is out there waiting to be discovered.
That's it for our deep dive into the Fukuoka UFO sighting. Until next time, keep an open mind and stay curious.